Hi, this is Patricia Finney, also known as P.F. Chisholm. I write the Sir Robert Carey Historical Mystery series and a lot of other things too. And I also do these Historical Novelist Guide to ... something. Today, this is the Historical Novelist Guide to ... booze. Currently spelt B-O-O-Z-E. Drink. Alcohol, for those who don't know the meaning of that fine old English word. It was probably, now when did it first come? I think it first came into currency sometime around the 13th century. We've been calling alcohol booze for a long time. And this is about the Elizabethan way of dealing with booze, which was to drink it. The Elizabethans, if possible, were even more drunken and riotous than modern English people or their 18th century ancestors. In fact, it's a kind of theme in English life. Too much booze, riot. The thing was, though, in the 16th century, the Elizabethans had some excuse because it really wasn't a great idea to drink water. It was called sometimes, jokingly, Adam's ale, and it might be all right if it was a spring from a spring or a conduit, but there's a risk. There was always a risk there, and if you went to foreign parts, there was an even greater risk. So most in fact all Elizabethans except the very poorest, drank beer, ale, wine, brandy, and a lot of other kinds of booze. So what did ordinary people drink? Well, until they were probably about 1 year old, they drank their mother's milk. Then they switched to small ale, which was a kind of very mild kind of ale. Now, ale is beer without hops, so it's quite a sort of sweet drink. It's not very bitter. It's quite nice, I think. Made with malt, same way. And small ale was very, very weak. It was about 2% by volume, which is about as strong as American beer. So as you can tell, that's very weak. I won't say exactly what species, what kind of insect's piss it is, but it's not very good. And this was the normal level. Most people would drink that. Anybody ill would drink small ale. If you were pregnant, you were advised to drink small ale or stout, of course. It helped you. It was full of B vitamins. The great thing about the Elizabethans is that once they got over the age of about 11 or 12 and started drinking other forms of beer, like beer, double beer, which was twice as strong, or double beer, which was, funnily enough, 4 times as strong, they just seemed to have drunk an awful lot. In fact, the normal ration for a courtier at Queen Elizabeth's court was 1 gallon of beer per day. Now, he didn't drink it all himself because he had servants, but that's pretty impressive. They drank a lot of wine, especially the richer classes, the aristocrats. They drank a lot. In fact, staggering quantities of wine were imported into England from Gascony. They drank a lot of beer. The various inns. They weren't called pubs yet, but they were inns, and there were also places known as boozing kens, which basically meant that they were smaller. They were just somebody's front room fitted up with some barrels, and you could go and get some beer there. Sometimes it was good, sometimes it was absolutely terrible. There was no real standard, though of course word would get round if your beer was terrible. And a lot of the beer brewing was done by women. It didn't get taken over by men until the 17th, 18th centuries. It was a small business that women could run quite easily by themselves, and it just required a lot of hard work. So beer, booze, brandy. Oh yeah, brandy. Plenty of brandy, but only if you were rich. You could use brandy to clean water. If you had to drink water, you'd put the brandy in, and of course the alcohol would kill some of the germs. But you have to remember, whenever you read a history of Elizabethan England, that everybody, absolutely everybody in it, was drunk. They were at least half cut all the time. You can't get up in the morning, start drinking small ale in the morning for your breakfast, continue drinking all the way through the day. You can't do it without getting a little bit drunk. And they were. And it makes so much sense. It explains most of the mad behaviour of the Elizabethan aristocracy. It explains why the apprentices were known to be terrifying, and when they came out in the streets and shouted, "Clubs! Clubs!" that was the signal for some kind of riot. It was absolutely predictable that drinking a gallon of beer a day, they were drunk. So on that happy thought, scroll down, leave a comment if you enjoyed this. If you haven't already done it, go to my website at www.patriciafinney.com, or small letters. Sign up for my email list and you'll get a free book if you do this. In fact, 2 free stories. And this is Patricia Finney saying farewell.